I mean, yeah, we're starting. All right.
And are we?
Yeah, we're
are
live. This is how it's going to end. This is how it's going to start.
All
yes.
right. Well, welcome back to the Doctors and Dragons podcast, everybody. This is episode. How many of these have we done? Six now?
This is six. This is
six. This is the Long Crown, because that's the name we decided to go with. Season 1, Bad Ghost. We're talking about the Doctor Who episode, The Long Game, and the Game of Thrones episode, A Golden Crown. So, The Long Crown. Bryce, you're joining me, obviously. I'm Ryan, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I always join you. Oh, I'm always good. One in the all too important League of Legends fantasy league that I'm doing with other people.
So it's a League of League.
Yeah, it is. It is a League of League and of Legends. Legends.
Excellent. All right, and we are joined by our friend William, special guest. William, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I have successfully escaped my captors.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Where are you now?
I had this great idea. Let me share how I escaped first.
Ooh, I'm excited. I
pretended. So I got really lonely, and I got them to bring me to look at the sunlight. And I got really depressed, and I pretended to commit jihad. And they were so impressed by my resolve, they didn't even question it. They just like, oh man. And so I'm hoping they don't realize that was fake, because currently I'm on the run.
Okay, so you're on the run, but you had time to record a podcast with us.
I'm using my phone's mobile hotspot to record this.
Are you using a VPN? What type of VPN are you using?
I paid Tunnel Bear.
Tunnel Bear? Wow. Jeez. Tunnel Bear. Wow.
Oh. I wonder what will happen to him next.
Find out next week
no way
on Doctors and Dragons Ball Z.
Oh boy. All right. So, let's get into it, I guess.
Let's get right into the news.
Let's get into the long game.
The long
game.
The Long Crown.
Right. So, Bryce, what did you think of this Doctor Who episode?
Honestly, best one yet.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was enjoyable. I had fun with the episode, and the ending wasn't too distracting. The biggest problem I have is, like, the way they interpret technology is so... Their predictions of what technology was going to be like 20,000 years from now.
Yeah.
Seems very ancient.
It's the year 200,000, by the way. Even further, yeah.
Yeah, that's Jesus Christ above. Wow. I'm sure the revolutionary technologies that they were using in Satellite 5. I think in 2012 we had some of those. Like the fact that you would think that there'd be these huge walls of wire in the main, like stuff like even small things like that, and the fact that you would have like these things inside your head. I think the chip part could not even that, honestly, because of how I guess the trend seems to be more towards Android-like things instead, and to see that there is nothing like that in the 200,000 years in the future doesn't make any sense. Especially, there are those logical fallacies. But the episode was enjoyable. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad you liked it. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said, but part of the thing too is that you have to understand that something has gone wrong here with the human race and their progression.
90 years.
Yeah, but
90.
But that's enough time to maybe revert a bit.
90 years. We would probably have almost all the technology that they were using 100 years from now.
Yeah, you may not be wrong.
It makes more. It doesn't make any sense because the doctor said they're only 90 years behind.
Yeah,
That's why they regret. They were still only 90 years, and that doesn't make any sense.
yeah, I agree that the technology seems a little bit off for the time, but I do agree that it's a pretty enjoyable episode.
Yeah.
William, do you have anything to add?
I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's my favorite so far, but it was a fun episode. A few things bothered me though, which we'll probably get to.
Okay. Well, let's start going over it then. What is all that? All those banging noises going on?
That is my brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Pardon me if he is distracting. I'll try to mute my mic as much as I can.
Okay.
And the audio of the episode, you guys will hear it. The listeners will not.
Okay. So this episode starts with
Them
TARDIS
entering in Satellite 5. They
Yep.
land.
They land on Satellite 5.
They land
and,
down under.
So the doctor gives Rose this briefing on where they are so that she can impress Adam with her knowledge of the future.
Yep.
And that was just dumb.
I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed that scene until he's like, you and your boyfriend. So I'm just like, wait, slow down. That's not the vibe I think people should be taken away from this.
Yeah,
That's called
Me and Ryan were
cheating.
right. She's a hoe.
She is a dirty slut.
She kind of is, yeah.
No one likes her. She should go and kill herself. I mean, what?
Agreed.
Yeah, let's go. We
she's
promote
$1.
suicide on this podcast.
Yeah, William, did you write an alternate ending to this episode, by the way? I mean, we're obviously not there yet, but...
I hadn't even thought about it for this one, so no, sorry.
Okay.
I
feel like
can't
anytime...
overuse my genius. I gotta pace it.
Anytime you're not satisfied with the ending of one of these episodes, you should just tell us how you would have ended it, because I think it would be a lot better in a lot of cases.
I can start doing that next week. I don't have one prepared for this week. I liked that they had what's his face. What's the actor's name? That was the guy.
Oh, are you talking about Simon Pegg?
Yeah, they had Simon Pegg.
That's Simon Pegg?
The editor. Yeah.
That was like, oh, hi.
I knew I
recognize
recognized
you.
him. Wow. Yeah, this episode was just a fun episode. I enjoyed it.
That's
it. It was just
I like
fun.
the idea of cameos. I don't know if at this point it was a cameo, if he was established or not, but
Well, he did die, so...
pretty good.
Does that count?
Spoiler.
So yeah, I
Good God,
think
Captain.
it's safe to say he won't be back.
Wow, Ryan,
Anyway.
you're just spoiling everything right now. Holy shit.
Yeah, sorry. So anyway,
I mean,
They're
not
on
holy shit.
Satellite
I mean,
5.
Zoink Scooby. Jeep.
they're on Satellite 5, and Adam faints as Rose is talking about the future.
Yep.
And then the doctor's like, he's your boyfriend, and she goes, not anymore. Yeah.
That was really dumb. It was so... I hated... Up until that line,
Yeah.
that scene was really fun, and then it just made it really not fun.
Yeah, I don't know. It started off a little bit shaky, but it got better, because then they're in this common area, the food court area,
Mm-hmm.
and so the doctor starts talking to some of the locals, and they think that it's a management test.
Yep.
You know, like he's coming.
They think
from
that, you know, they're not trying to... They're not clueless and stupid, but
Mhm.
rather
They're
smart.
from upstairs.
I think I know what my favorite recurring thing in the show is, and it happened in the when they're with the stretched out last human lady. You know, when it's like towards the start of the episode, they'll like throw a bunch of stuff at you at once, and they'll play like really quirky music in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. I don't know why, but it just every time it happens, I get so happy.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't paid close enough attention to know if they keep doing that.
It's happened twice that I've noticed.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
It's just fun. The tone of the episode it's lighthearted. The show is really, really lighthearted. And I think that adds to the show more than it takes away.
Yes.
So, speaking of that second episode with Cassandra, the trampoline, we got a call back to that because we saw one of those characters again.
Wait.
Because the
really?
They were showing the Doctor around, and they were showing, here are all the news stations that we broadcast, and they were doing all these news stories. So I wrote down what the news items were. There were sandstorms going on the New Venus archipelago, and there were 200 people dead.
Ooh.
200 people died.
Good God, Captain.
Good God, Captain.
Yeah. That's the second week in
Do
a row.
we say good God, Captain, despite... Do we say good God, Captain, despite never seeing these people?
Yeah, I think we do.
We're humanitarians?
Yes.
Yes.
So then the next news item was that the Glasgow water riots are into their third day. Then after that, Space Lane 77 is closed by sunspot activity. And then the last one is on the Bad Wolf channel. The Face of Bo has just announced he's pregnant.
I love the Face of Bo.
So the Face of Bo, call back to him, and he's on the Bad Wolf channel.
What is the Face of Bo?
The Face of Bo was the giant face in a jar in that episode with Cassandra, the second episode.
Oh.
And actually, he'll pop up again. Lots of little appearances. So we get more Bad Wolf stuff. You guys have any theories?
I don't. It doesn't. There's the thing about this Bad Wolf. It doesn't seem like anything's connected. Like it's so loose connections. There's a lot of loose connections, but there's not a lot. Not enough evidence for me to like fully make a conclusion. I guess.
Because let's summarize what we've had so far with this. It was the Mox of Balhoun talking about the classic Bad Wolf scenario back in the End of the World.
Yeah.
Then in the next episode, it was Gwyneth saying that Rose had seen the big bad wolf. Then in the Aliens of London, what was it in that episode? I don't even remember. Wow. It's been a while. But then it was Bad Wolf 1 descending in Dalek. That was the name of the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this one, the Bad Wolf channel.
It has to be some sort of overlaying being or something where it has to be some like either organization or something that's like overarching over this all. I guess that's what it seems to me, at least.
I feel like I don't know why, because they haven't given us any information about this. But I feel like the Doctor is the Bad Wolf for some reason. But I don't think there's any information to support that.
That's the thing. Like I would say something like that too, but there's what information tells us that? Nothing.
None. Yeah, it's just a feeling.
It's just like I think this, just because guesses. But they don't leave you many breadcrumbs. They're like, what are the connections between all those things? A Bad Wolf scenario, the Big Bad Wolf, Bad Wolf 1, and some television station. What are those? How do those connect? In my head, what? You know?
Oh right. I'm sorry. In the Aliens of London, it was the kids spray painting it on the side of the TARDIS.
Yeah, Bad Wolf. All this doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
And I guess this Bad Wolf thing. Okay, give me an honest answer. is the last episode or the episode where we find out what Bad Wolf is in this season.
Wait, what's the question?
The episode where we find out about Bad Wolf, or like what the whole like twist and thing about that all is that one of your 10 out of 10 episodes?
It's not. I don't think. No, it's not going to be a 10, but it's a good episode.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Lame.
It's probably. I mean, tentatively, it's probably like in the 8 to 9 range. So it's not a 10, but it's good. So, anyway, moving along. The next thing we see then is they decide to get food from the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
beef flavored smoothies, baby.
I wrote that down too. A beef flavored slush puppy.
Slurp on the beef.
I don't know about you guys, but I could go for a Kronk burger with pajatos. That was that sounded delicious to me. That is a lot of noise going on in the background, Bryce.
What is a lot of noise? What does it sound like?
It sounds like machines.
It does sound like machines.
Machines? What does that
Yes.
mean? Oh, like that's his mechanical keyboard.
No, not that.
Not just that.
Sounds like you're like milling something, like on the lathe. I don't know.
What? It's. Oh man, here. I'm gonna. I'm gonna mute my desktop audio for a second, so on the stream, and then I'm gonna listen to it. I think I fixed it. I fixed it.
Okay.
So.
Well, hopefully that.
What I did was I turned down my sounds on my Xbox because I'm just casually like roaming around in Siege trying to knife people for a challenge, and I'm barely paying attention to the game because I'm thinking about the show. I've straight up just died twice in a row for not paying attention. But that's not.
Okay.
We're not talking about my video game addiction. We're talking about
beef slush puppies.
we're talking about the great beef slush puppies and how much we want to delve into them.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could go for one right now.
Yeah, Kronk burger with pajatos.
What the fuck's up? Like straight up pajatos. It's weird that they would have food like pajatos. Sounds like it's some sort of fruit or something. It's weird they would have that, but there would be no aliens, and people would not be batting an eye at that. Like you would think that in order to make sure no one would have any questions, they would just get rid of all those types of foods. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's pointed out in the episode, right, by the doctor, where he's like,
Yeah,
where are
where
all
he's like-
the aliens?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But like, I'm just thinking in my head. Whatever.
But yeah, but that's kind of the whole point of the episode.
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
Yeah. So good. I'm glad that makes sense to everybody. That's good.
That's.
So, yep, the face of Bo is pregnant. Beef slush puppy. Then Rose gives Adam her phone so that he can call home. Because that was a comforting thing for her when she first traveled in time. And
Yeah.
he decides to,
Steal the information.
that cheeky bastard. He stole her phone first. He just stuck it in his pocket.
I hate him.
Yeah, I really hate him too.
Good God, Captain.
Why did she so freely give him the key to the TARDIS? Like they just met this guy.
Oh, I know.
She gives him the key to the TARDIS. I'm like,
Rose is
what?
such an idiot.
I
No
just
one
need to, like,
likes
run into
Rose.
these
No one would
guys.
ever like Rose.
Oh, she's the only person that really likes Rose is Mickey. I mean, what does that tell you?
Mickey is a saint.
It's like her mother and Mickey are the only people that like her. So, anyway, then we see the scene where they are standing around while the people working on the station are gathering the news, right? They're sitting around in a circle, and then Kathika is sitting in the chair in the center, and the thing's getting beamed into her head.
Yep. Again, dated technology, only by 90 years.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The timing seems off.
It's a little off.
If you just set aside the fact, like, forget what year they told you and insert the year that you think that technology would be, and then add 90 years, like, you know.
Yeah.
Then suddenly that's a huge problem in the episode that's solved. So I'm willing to kind of just ignore that and let it go.
Yeah, no, like, stuff like that, it just needs a Doctor Who it wears its time period on its sleeve a lot. Like, the 2000s, people were not as obsessed with stuff like that, I guess, as they are now. Because right now, androids are all you see shows like Westworld, you got games like Detroit, Nier, being like the most popular games out right now. Like,
well, and if you look at it too, like, it hasn't even been 15 years since this episode, and like,
yeah,
technology has moved so far since 2005.
Oh my
like,
God. Imagine still using a flip phone.
Well, right, like nobody.
1 year from now,
Nobody in 2005 saw how quickly technology was going to evolve. So, maybe if they had that, idea of...
Yeah, hindsight's 2020. Yeah. But my foresight tells me that technology that we don't have right now, the Doctor Who's and mimicking, is something that we would have.
So, anyway, let's get on with this. So, the Doctor points out that the technology is wrong, and Rose, like you mentioned, gives Adam the TARDIS key, and Adam takes the key and Rose's cell phone and just sneaks off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they told him to do whatever he wants, really.
Yeah.
They did give him that, to be fair. To be fair for him, but at the same time, he straight up tried to advance the human race far beyond its capacity.
Yep. He's terrible. Because, well, okay, before we get to him trying to send information back in time, we find out that Suki, who was the other local that they were talking to, is some kind of spy.
Yep. She's an anarchist.
Yeah. So the editor promotes her, has her come upstairs. I just love how Kathika is just so obsessed with getting promoted.
Yeah.
God, she's dumb.
Journalism.
She's
well, no,
dumber
she's
than
a
Rose.
slave. No, she's not a slave. No, she's not dumb. She's a slave. Yeah, that's been taught to obsess over these things. Everyone's a slave in some way, shape, or form, but I would say that they are a slave in the sense that they don't have free thought. That, right has been stripped away from them.
See, okay, we'll talk more about that later. So I have a point to make, but I'll make it later. Because they'll talk more about that later in this episode. So when Suki goes upstairs, she finds this group of dead people that were arranged in a circle in the same way that they were downstairs in the room gathering news.
In a yellow submarine.
And she doesn't think to just leave at that point. Okay, first of all, it's hot.
A lot of dead.
It's hot downstairs, and there's snow upstairs. And then there's a group of dead people, and she just is okay, I'll just keep going. By the way, I don't think we say "Good God, Captain" for this group of dead people
Good God, Captain.
because they died before.
They died before the episode started.
I have sympathy for them. Good God, Captain.
All right, William.
Sympathy doesn't count. Facts don't care about your feelings.
All right. So she goes. Sorry, she goes deeper in and meets the editor. So that was kind of a fun conversation.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at the end of that, you know, she's going like, "Oh, the facts are being manipulated," and he's like, "Yeah."
So
And,
yeah, no shit.
No shit. And then she's dead at that point. Although we don't really find out that she's dead until later. But good God, Captain.
Good God, Captain.
I mean, a bunch of screaming. We can.
Yeah.
It's safe. It's a safe, good God, Captain, that we aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Safe.
So, Adam then goes to the medical floor because he's having trouble interfacing with the computer because, of course, he doesn't have a chip in his head. So he goes to the medical floor, and he has brain surgery, an old-fashioned term. And he gets not only the chip, but he gets the data spike installed. I think that's what they called it.
Yep.
The thing where his forehead opens up.
Oh, yeah. He was convinced because he has unlimited credits.
He has
and no one batted
credits.
an eye about that either.
Well, because the doctor early on in the episode had, gone to an ATM, basically, is what it was, and used a sonic screwdriver on it to get unlimited credit and just gave it to Adam. Like, it seems like the doctor is just doing some dumb things in this episode. Like, the doctor and Rose both, because they gave Adam unlimited credit and a phone that can call through time and space, and a TARDIS key, and freedom to roam about the space station. Like, that's... they're dumb. They're dumb in this episode.
Nothing smart to have come from those people. And nothing of value is lost.
That's my only real criticism of this episode, is that for all of
it was weird that he gave him unlimited. I thought he gave him a cap. I thought that it was said later.
For the amount of like distrust that we see for Adam from the Doctor, it seems like he should have kept a closer eye on him in this episode. But anyway, so Kafka, of course, does not want anything to do with the Doctor and Rose because she just doesn't want to be involved.
Yep.
Which was, the point of the episode. It's the human race has lost its curiosity by this point, and that was the whole thing that was wrong with this future.
Yep. I am in agreement still.
Yeah. By the way, I totally want those nano termites that they put in Adam's throat.
I don't want some cold thing to cut. You still gag.
Okay, throwing up sucks.
Yeah, but the mess is not the reason why it sucks. The feeling sucks. I think like it's not really that messy. You just get to a toilet.
Okay, here's the thing. There are a few reasons why throwing up sucks. The mess is one reason. The feeling is another reason. And I feel like, okay, the nano termites would eliminate the mess. I feel like the ice cube coming up your throat would soothe it a little bit.
That would be awful. Oh, that would feel so weird. Oh, it's so gross, dude. It's made out of your own puke. It tastes like shit.
I don't think Your throat wouldn't hurt afterwards. Like, it would still feel terrible.
Your throat would hurt like a bitch. It just had a rectangle made of ice go through it.
No.
I've swallowed decent-sized ice cubes. It does kind of hurt. It doesn't stay with you like acid burn from throwing up does.
Well, acid burn is different if you brush your teeth. Like, just brush your teeth, and it goes away. We already have the technology for it. It seems so like mitigated. It seemed like it'd be better to get rid of the gag reflex entirely, which we would probably do instead. Again, another technological flaw in the episode. Boom.
William, where do you weigh in? Would you want these nanotermites if it were available?
So the last time I threw up, I blew my nose afterwards, and chunks of goldfish came out. So I want the ice cube.
Wait.
So I don't have chunks of food coming out of my nose.
Okay. Now, to clarify, you're talking about goldfish crackers, not the actual fish.
No, you're not. What do you mean? What's so wrong about eating real goldfish?
How dare you assume, Ryan?
Come on. That was a completely uncalled for assumption.
I'd take the ice cube for sure.
I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. It's
I
just
would
because
totally take the ice.
the only thing I care about is how I feel. I don't care if I'm like my body is if my appearance is that way when I'm like doing something like throwing up. You know?
I would take the ice cube. It seems like it would just save so much time. Not really, but you know.
It just doesn't really accomplish what other technologies at the time should. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There should be other options other than, well, I mean, it doesn't make a mess.
Well, and like, it's weird to me that they just like installed this without asking him, because like,
yeah,
if this podcast is any indication, 1 in 3 people would totally object to that.
Yeah.
So like,
well, they're all manipulated.
That's true.
You see, this episode's already gotten.
They've all been manipulated by the fake news media.
Fake news.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
When you start thinking about it, this episode is really depressing.
Is it depressing or soothing? Depends on who you are.
I guess, yeah, depends. To me, it's depressing.
I believe it's quite fascinating.
Okay. So, let's see. Rose and the doctor start like tearing apart a wall to get access to the elevator to go up, because they want to see what's going on at floor 500, where the walls are made of gold.
Mm-hmm.
And so they start tearing apart a wall. Kathika doesn't want to be involved, blah, blah, blah. And so they decide to just go up, and then they get to the top, and the doctor immediately is like, something's wrong here. Rose, you should go back downstairs. And she goes, tough.
Huh,
and like,
funny. Why would I listen to a time traveler who...
But okay, here's the thing though. More evidence that the doctor does not want Rose to be there.
Yep. And still she's like, she's the expert.
Yeah. But like, again, it's like, I'd prefer to be doing this alone. Why are you here with me? You should go downstairs.
Maybe it's one of those things where it's like, oh, no, you shouldn't go here. It's not safe. And she says this thing, and he's just like, oh, maybe it's okay because I might need whatever. It's dumb. I was about to say he's human. It's like, no, he's not human, but he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's emotional, like the same way, and maybe he's easily influenced in the same way, despite being a literal 900-year-old being. You would think that he'd be more like Yoda. Wisdomful. Or maybe when you get to that age, you don't actually use all the spunk that humans have. The spunk. all that junk inside your trunk.
Okay, so anyway.
Also, hi, Evan.
Hi, Evan.
Shout out to you watching the podcast.
Hi, Fcast.
From your cozy abode.
Yeah, hey Evan, how's it going?
You'll get an update in like 20-30 seconds, by the way.
Great.
Ditch Tom.
Alright.
So,
Yeah. Awkward silence.
so yeah, sorry. I was
He says he's going well, by the way.
Okay, good.
Ditch Tom.
Alright.
Glad to hear it.
Bad game, by the way.
We straight stopped the second he...
So, anyway, the image that I just put there, I think you should put in the video
Alright.
cast when we start talking about this, just cause.
Nah.
Normie tier.
That is normie tier, but yeah, that is I can appreciate it nonetheless. I'll appreciate it, but it would be weird to put that in with the other images. It'd be
Okay.
The images are supposed to be aesthetic.
Let's move on then.
I'm sorry I broke your heart.
You really did. So, anyway,
Tangents are weird.
we're introduced to the mighty Jagrafess of the Holy Hadrojasic Maxadrenfo.
Or Max.
Max. Yeah. He's just this big blob hanging from the ceiling with a mouth and sharp teeth. And
Oh yeah.
so the doctor figures out that, okay, this creature upstairs is generating a lot of heat. Notice how I call it a creature.
Yeah. Oh my god. Only we would know that, would get why you would call it a creature.
You know, Bryce, on the last episode in Dalek, I referred to the Dalek as a creature several times, and you did not notice.
Well, you didn't point it out.
No,
it
I
is a
didn't.
creature. It is by definition a creature. But so,
Yeah.
God. Okay, shut up. I'm not talking about this. It's a programming thing. Ryan sometimes.
It's okay.
I appreciate it.
The other reason, though, is that the doctor refers to it as a creature several times, which I got a little bit of a kick out of. So anyway, he figures out that this creature is generating a lot of heat, and so he figures, okay, they must be funneling that heat downward because the Jagrafess has to stay cool. So that's why it's so hot downstairs and so cool upstairs.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 out
Except
of
for the
10.
whole like heat rises thing. Why would you structure the satellite that
Yeah.
way?
Well, I mean, it's space.
That's true. It is space, but they obviously have artificial gravity.
Oh, shit, they do. What the fuck? Why
They do, yeah,
Why
so
would they form
I
that?
don't know if heat
Oh my-
would still rise necessarily, but I assume it would, which would mean why wouldn't the Jagrafess just be at the bottom? Because that would be a lot easier.
God, maybe it's advanced thermodynamics.
But then again, it took humans a long time to figure out that when building refrigerators, we should not put the freezer on top of the fridge because of that same reason. And now the newer fridges are more energy efficient because the freezer is on the bottom.
What's your favorite fridge, Ryan?
What's your favorite? Yeah, what brand of fridge do you love, Ryan?
You a Samsung kind of guy?
I can't think of a brand of fridge, damn it.
I prefer my MSI fridge.
Frigidaire all the way.
No, frigid air.
I
That is
Alienware
the
fridge.
worst thing you've ever said. Never
I know.
speak in your life. You have been revoked of speaking privileges.
All right,
From this
you
day
drive the
forth.
podcast.
All right. So after this, they save the day and they defeat Godzilla.
Okay,
The end.
I'm going back to driving again. So
You have the
anyway,
notes. That's why I'm giving it to you.
in the background, unbeknownst to the editor, Kathika has snuck upstairs and she's listening in on their conversation. And
Ooh.
the doctor knows she's there because he can see her reflection in the glass behind the editor. And so,
you know, as a wise man once said, zoinks.
zoinks. That Scooby-Doo picture from yesterday.
Enough of that. You mean last week, Ryan?
Yeah, last week. Mm-hmm. So anyway, is that going to be part of the video, Bryce? That
What?
Scooby-Doo picture?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Whole entire time.
Nice. I'm happy about that. That's good.
I think it comes in like 5 or 6 minutes in.
Okay, great. So anyway, the next note that I have leads back to what we were talking about before with people being enslaved, and the editor says, is a slave enslaved if he doesn't know he's enslaved? And the doctor immediately says, yes, of course.
Yeah.
But
like,
I would love to get a different perspective on this. So William, as a former slave yourself, how do you feel about this issue?
I think we're all slaves in some way.
We're all slaves to one thing or another and laugh.
I am just more open.
Great
about
creator.
it. I'm more progressive than all of you. That's all I gotta say.
You're more progressive as a slave. Okay.
Syria, they leave everything out in the open. There's no gray area. People are aware. Syria is woke.
Syria is woke.
Yeah.
They're woke with 5 W's in it and 1 X. Because
That's
Rip X.
Oh my goodness, I just got shot and it scared the shit out of me.
Are you woke, Ryan?
All right. So I'm glad that we got that perspective. Because I was struggling with this issue, but I'm glad that William has cleared that up.
Yeah, I'm glad I could be here.
Yeah. Godspeed, William.
Godspeed.
Meanwhile, while this is going on, we see that Adam has decided to try to use the info spike. And by the way, he's trying to send information about the future back to the present, his present, where he came from.
Through his, Rose's flip phone.
Through Rose's cell phone and his mom's answering.
Yep, through a flip phone and an answering machine.
Yeah, at his mom's house. His mom's.
His mom's.
When did he get across the street?
His mother's humble abode.
How did he miss 45
Everything okay?
You good?
No way.
You back? Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, can you hear my brother completely?
Yeah.
No.
That's
Give him a slap.
I'm gonna have to 1 second do something. Oh, where is that? Where is that microphone of mine? There it is. All right. I didn't want to plug in my mic, and I thought my brother wasn't here earlier. Now he's on a Discord call. So now, I got it. That's a red. And
That was a thick sigh.
Is this better?
Yes, it is better.
It
Yes.
is way better. All right.
Maybe turn it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Is
turn
it-
your
no,
volume
no, it's fine now, right?
Yep, good.
Yeah, it just needs to be right on my face. Don't worry.
Well,
Sounds
actually,
like you're kind of eating it. so-
Yeah, I am.
yeah,
I straight up have my face in it. Don't worry.
that's very unpleasant, actually.
I can't tell which one was worse. Oh.
I would. I think you should move it away from your face just a little.
Is it fine now?
Yes.
Is this a... Shit. Fuck. I have so many wires on me. Okay. Just continue.
It was actually a really good test to see if it would blow air in there.
Continue. Continue. Just continue.
Bryce, are you wearing a wire? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So anyway, Adam is interfacing with this machine. Like, okay, he's British, but he was living in Utah, right? So
Yep.
he must have had a place in Utah.
Well,
Nope.
yeah.
A
Well, no,
flat.
because he lived under...
It's Utah. There's nothing in Utah.
Yeah, no one lives in Utah but Mormons.
My point was that, like, he
Was
must
the
have
rich
had
guy-
some home in America that he could have called to leave a message instead of at his mom's house.
They can't be trusted.
He hasn't.
His
Maybe he
mom
hasn't
can
figured it
only
out.
be trusted.
Maybe he has some sort of evil roommate who would, delete his messages.
I think his roommate's called Ryan Brewer. Oh man. Wow. Okay. I wonder if I'm trying to. This mic is really flimsy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just continue. I'm here.
Okay.
Spirit, at least.
Anyway, I was trying to play that up, but never mind. It's fine. He's leaving a message at his mom's house.
Beep.
So, then we see Kathika upstairs decides to she just kind of casually removes the dead body from the chair.
Yeah. No honor. No grace. Come
Yep.
on.
And then
That
she
Good
almost
God,
down.
Captain.
Good God, Captain.
That almost was a convincing human being. Why would you
Yeah.
not wait?
I'm just commemorating those that you guys failed to.
No, actually, I was going to say it that time, but William beat me to it.
Sure you were.
So anyway, she moves the body and then decides to interface with the thing, and she overrides the thing that Adam is using, so it kicks him out because the editor had figured out what Adam was doing and was like attacking him and hurting him and learning all of the information he knew about the doctor.
Really hurt.
Yep.
What a bad boy.
Mm-hmm. So then what happened next? Oh, right. So
I think
Kathika
the whole
starts.
universe was in a hot dense cave next.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
So at one point they mentioned with the time control or the time travel, they could like erase humans from existence. Why do they want to do that?
Why would
Who
they?
wants to
Yeah.
erase humans?
Yeah, because they want to. Don't they want to control humans, not get rid of them? Like I didn't get that part.
Who was saying that? Was that the editor talking?
The editor was saying that they could do this now.
Yeah.
And like,
Mhm.
why would you want to do that? Isn't that like
seems very
counterintuitive?
unprofitable. And you wouldn't exist
Yeah.
anymore the second you do that. Or you would exist because it's time isn't linear.
Okay.
Time is something that goes.
Wibbly wobbly.
Yeah, wibbly wobbly.
Okay, William, there is. I can't answer your question without spoiling stuff. So
Okay, that's okay then.
What?
I
but
just want.
write
I
that
erased my
down.
question.
Write that question down because it will eventually get addressed.
I'm not gonna write it down.
Okay.
So what you're telling me is that a race controlling humans.
Humans are special. Wait, no, I don't get it.
You don't get it, and that's okay because it will be dealt with
the
later.
doctor's purpose is to save humanity.
Why does the
Well-
doctor like humans so much?
Because
Um,
apparently there's a lot of people who want to kill humans completely. And they're very expendable. And they're very squishy.
I think the reason is that humans look like Time Lords outwardly, and since he doesn't have his own people, he hangs out with a facsimile of his people.
So he's
So
shallow.
he just cosplays a lot. He likes cosplay.
The other reason is probably that the writers for the show are all human, and so it makes sense to have humans involved.
Terrible.
Well, racist.
So anyway, Kathika turns off the ventilation thing that's pumping all the heat downward, and God, I love that when everything's going wrong and the Jaggerfest is about to blow up, Kathika goes, "You should have promoted me years back."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
This is dumb line.
Has she not figured out by now that promotion means you die?
Well, of course not.
Like, come on.
She's been trained to think that all she would want is a promotion. It makes sense why.
Oh, that was such a dumb line.
It wasn't based on how manipulation works.
No, it was dumb.
No.
It was so dumb.
Press X to disagree.
Dumb. Someone disagrees, just chant until they agree with you.
Chant until they agree with you. Is that how you escape captivity, William? For real? Just chanted.
Hey, my story is much more noble. It fakes my death.
Okay. So,
There's honor in all work, Ryan. Especially slavery.
Can't spell slavery without honor. What?
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Prove it, Ryan.
SLAVERY.
Now you're just rubbing it in. That's just rude.
None of the letters are even the same, except that there's an R in both words.
I can't
Exactly.
believe you would spell slavery so wrong. What, did you even go to school?
I did go to school.
It's
Do you even
literally pronounced slavery, but spelled HONOR. It's one of those pristine examples of why the English language is so delicately crafted to deceive one's mind. It's like Morse code, but in actual language. Not everyone's supposed to understand it.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue with you anymore. I'm done.
He concedes.
Leaves.
Any-
Just leaves the podcast.
I yield.
Completely.
Yield. So anyway, the Jaggerfest is exploding, and as that is about to happen, the editor goes, "I'd like to resign," and
Then blows up
then
with it because
Suki, the dead lady, grabs the editor by the ankle and prevents him from running away.
Well, yeah, the Max controlled him, right? Max.
I was
No.
assuming that's what it was, too.
Yeah, Max just controlled it. That's what's to be assumed.
Yeah, there's two interpretations. The first is that
that's the
the
only
Jaggerfest did it.
interpretation.
the other one is that
Zombie.
Suki was still partly alive, and so she did it.
But she wasn't.
But I like the other interpretation much better, that it was the Jaggerfest that just grabbed him. So anyway,
The one that makes logical sense.
that's the one that makes logical sense.
And I like
Yeah.
that one too. My
Yeah.
favorite one.
So, after that, we're winding down, and the doctor's like, "Oh, yep, human race should go back to normal. They'll start listening to you now, Kathika, because you're not an idiot." And then they just leave, because the doctor doesn't like to clean up. And they take Adam home, because Adam's a dick.
I hope he
And-
doesn't come back, but I feel like he will.
Not to my knowledge. I don't think he comes back.
That's weird that they
He
took him
opens
for
his
an
head.
episode.
No, it wasn't weird. It proves that not everyone can be trusted. That you can't just
I
say,
hate-
"Oh, I like this person. We need to bring him along."
Weird,
Doctor's fault.
weird.
It's not weird. It's
Weird.
It's growing. It's
Weird.
Chanting because somebody disagrees with them.
Concede.
Da re da hu do re.
Welcome Christmas.
Whenever I think of chanting, I think of Christmas songs.
I think of the scene where Daenerys is eating a horse's heart, but we'll get to that later. So anyway, they take Adam back to his home, and the doctor uses the sonic screwdriver to wipe the answering machine.
Yep. AKA
And
blow it up, and then they leave Adam there, and then
he blows up Adam's mom's phone. Like,
yeah, he does.
Now she has to go get a new phone.
Yeah.
She has to get a new landline.
Yeah.
The doctor should have replaced it before he
shouldn't.
left.
Adam has to learn from his mistakes.
But it wasn't his
Adam's
possession.
mistake
It was his
caused
mom's.
that Adam now has to meet his mom in the eye and say why he broke her phone.
And also why his head opens up.
Yes.
William,
so
what do you
this
think?
Doctor.
Sorry, I'm really distracted by the video I just put in the chat.
Yeah, I'm
Wait.
deliberately have not pressed play yet.
It's like 20 seconds long. Just
All right,
watch it.
let's see this.
Bryce, if you play it, will it be
Everyone
part of the
praise to our
podcast?
new violent savior!
Okay, play it then.
No! None of that!
I don't understand.
Shame on you! We are looking for the man who assassinated
This is
two
DBZ
emissaries!
abridged, isn't it?
I think it's, but I don't think it's the main one. I think it's
I don't
like a-
watch the only bridge I've watched is Hellsing and SAL because the SAL talks everything about how awful that show is so perfectly. Like it's the worst show ever made from Japan, and they just make fun of it so perfectly. But we're not talking about a bridge series. We're talking about Game of Thrones now, where actually no, we're not. We have to get to the
Oh yeah, Ryan asked me a question. What was your question, Ryan?
the ratings.
What now?
You asked me a question and then
I'm sorry, I was
started
mesmerized by the video.
it's just see, it just breaks your train of thought.
It really does. I started out trying to listen to you guys and the video, and then I just was focused
It just
solely
takes
on
over.
that.
You asked me, what do you think? But I
yeah.
don't know what you're asking about.
Do you think that the doctor should have replaced the phone that he blew up?
No.
All right, I guess I'm outnumbered.
Yeah, give that up.
I yield.
We didn't even have to chant that time.
So anyway, yeah, and then the episode ends with his mom coming home, and she snaps her fingers and opens up his forehead, and then
Although it was really corny, I really like that scene.
Oh yeah, I
It
know.
is very corny, but
It's like it was corny, but I like it. Exactly what you said. So anyway, that's the end of the episode. And you guys liked this one, and I'm really glad that you did.
6 out of 10.
Really? 6?
Oh yeah, definitely
Whoa.
a 6. What?
Oh, man,
liked
I was
it.
hoping for better. All right.
What?
Okay, 6.
Isn't it my highest rated episode?
It is. That it is. Okay.
Wow, you are begging at this point. Wow.
It's just like for all the praise that you gave this episode, and then you still give it only a 6.
I did not just give it praise. I gave it a lot of criticism as well.
Okay.
I mean, it still has the same flaws that Game of Thrones episodes have. Incredibly corny, cheesy. There's a lot of plot holes and inconsistencies, and the personalities don't usually match how the plot is. But it was an enjoyable and entertaining episode, and I would watch it again.
All right. William?
A 5.6.
5.6. Okay, can you explain?
No.
Because you gave the End of the World a 5.5. And you
It's better
gave
than that.
You gave Dalek a 6.
It was worse than that.
I see.
Man
So a
of his word.
5.6. Oh man. Okay. To be honest, actually, I was kind of going to give it a 6 too.
Ooh.
Why not 5.6?
Prior to this podcast, I was thinking it was a 6, and then Bryce was praising it, so I thought, oh, his rating might actually be higher than mine. But then, of course, it wasn't.
Then of course.
And actually,
I like it.
The
It's a
other thing that I
6.
thought of though is because this episode sets up some future stuff you guys are not aware of yet. It's world building, and I bump it up another point, so I'm giving it a 7.
Spooky. But that does leave it at like a
6.2 average.
Yeah. I was gonna guess a 6.3. Oops.
Yep.
My math in my head is
Yeah, it's with William
stupid.
giving us his decimal ratings, screwing things up.
Screwing things up or making them
I
better?
take pride
Making them better.
in my ratings. I strive for excellence.
Yep.
Strives for perfection.
All right. So that actually does raise the Doctor Who episode average to 5.28 from 5.1.
Ooh.
So
That's actually a pretty decent jump.
That is a 0.2 jump, almost.
almost, yeah, 0.18, nearly 0.2.
Well, what's
So-
Game of Thrones overall average at so far?
Okay, so prior to doing Golden Crown, it's 7.53.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay.
And I think, personally, as we are getting into Game of Thrones, that score
Yep.
should probably go up with this episode. I mean, I think this is the best one of the season so far. I mean, it's the most action.
Disagree.
Really? Okay.
What's the name of this episode?
A Golden Crown.
The Golden Crown. How could you forget, William?
Or are you talking about this episode of the podcast, Long Crown? Or The Long Crown, I should say.
I don't know. Oh, this is a good episode.
Oh, it's so
Give
good.
me a second to remember it. I
So
watched
good,
it
The
last.
Golden Crown.
I really like this one.
He wants his crown, guys. Also, I wanna throw this out, Brian. May the actresses for Sansa and Arya,
Mhm.
what is their age difference? What do you think is their age difference?
The characters or the actresses?
The actresses.
Oh, I do not know, actually.
Would you guess? That what I would like you to do is guess.
Are they maybe like a year apart?
They are. They're only a year apart. And
Okay.
outside of this show are actually quite they basically are just best friends with each other. I didn't think you would actually get that they're only a year apart because they do look. One of them looks 16. The other one looks like they're 13. One of them, Arya is 13 at season 1, and Sansa is 14. Although
Yeah, she does look a little bit older.
Yeah. Not the 14-year-old I remember. But that's just a theory. So anyway, would you care to begin this episode's description?
Yeah, we can get into it.
Let's get right into that news.
So, okay. I have to say, I understand completely why you guys like this episode, and we'll talk about it. There are a number of things that I felt like, okay, this does not make sense. I need this to be explained. And I'm sure it's going to get explained in future episodes. And, if I had that knowledge, I would probably think a lot better of this episode. But anyway, let's get into it. So this episode picks up right where the last one left off at King's Landing, with Ned waking up, and he has.
Before she goes, girl.
What?
Do you not know the song? So wake me up before you go, girl, 'cause I don't wanna see you riding solo.
I listened to that yesterday when I was driving. with Patrick again. Right after some death
A
grips.
thinking man's music.
That seems like the kind of corny song they should play in Doctor Who, like right at the beginning of an episode. Anyway, so Robert and Cersei are standing over him when he wakes up, and there's that whole scene. So Cersei's mouthing off, and Robert smacks her.
Robert does the right thing.
I disagree. I mean, I don't like Cersei, but that was not the right thing
Are you
to do.
questioning my culture, Ryan?
William, it was not.
Yeah,
It was
It-
not
it was-
kingly.
he.
It was very Syrian of him. I appreciate it.
Your woman showing too much skin? Stone!
Oh.
I won't lie, this is definitely me when my girl be showing 2.5% of her skin.
How about you, Ryan? Do you hit women?
No, no, I do not.
Man, somebody's living in the past.
No.
Unrelated. Well, kind of related. Did you hear about the police force in Lebanon?
It sounds like the start to a really bad joke.
No. Oh my god. They're the female police uniforms in Lebanon. Basically, they wear you should look this up. They basically just wear a t-shirt and they wear little shorts that are like that basically barely cover their butts to show that they are a progressive country. And I mean, to each their own. If that's what they want to do, and no one really complains, okay. And it seems like no one's complaining about it, other than people who live in the West, apparently. But it's still really cool, I guess. I think headlines like that are pretty cool. But it's kind of unrelated, whatever. Game of Thrones.
I really wish that was the setup to a really bad joke, actually.
Maybe I should flee to Lebanon.
Yeah,
It's right next to Syria, isn't it?
yeah, they're bordered.
Let me consult my
I
map
could also
here.
be wrong about that, but I don't want to be wrong, so they're bordered.
Oh no, you're right. You're right.
Hell yeah!
What are my other options? I could go to Jordan.
Yeah.
Iraq.
No one likes Jordan. I mean,
I could
Jordan.
do
What a
Turkey.
dumb name. Who would have the name Jordan?
What else do I got here? Countries.
You could go into the ocean, the Dead Sea.
I think I'd have to go through Jordan to get that. I hate Jordan already.
Yeah.
But Ryan likes Jordan.
Yeah, I bet Ryan likes Jordan.
Yep, I do. So anyway, Cersei leaves the room, and then Robert declares that Catelyn has to release Tyrion, and Ned has to make peace with Jaime. And he makes Ned the Hand of the King again, and then Ned asks about Daenerys, and they reveal, or Robert's like, "Yep, she still has to die."
Yep.
So yeah.
It's like, who cares about some wench in the
Yeah.
Girl. Oh no, he didn't.
So, anyway, Ned's not happy about that. But then we go to Vice Dothrak, and we see Daenerys putting the dragon egg on the fire,
Yeah.
proving that it's not a regular pine cone.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
Or an avocado.
But, we addressed this in an earlier episode that, it makes sense that it would be like a fire retardant pine cone, because dragons breathe fire and are impervious to fire. So it would make sense that the eggs are also shielded from fire, even if they are pine cones. So anyway,
Yeah.
there's that whole scene where she puts it on the fire and then she picks it up and she's not burned, but the servant who comes in, her hands are burned when she touches it. And this is one of those things that, like, I need this thing to be explained to me because it doesn't make any sense and it bothers me.
She's a dog. What doesn't make sense?
It
about
needs
that?
to be more than just like, oh, she's a Targaryen, she can't be burned.
She's a
it's got
Targaryen. Her blood is literally dragon's blood. That is they're in their lineage. Not everyone has it, but that is straight up like. That is why they're able to control dragons. That is.
It's just that it hasn't been adequately explained by the show yet to me, and it bothers me.
It is kind of like randomly magic-y. Like, other than
the show isn't magic exists in Game of Thrones, but it's not like it's gonna be some Wizards of Waverly Place Hogwarts thing. Magic exists, but it's not like this overarching force, and usually it could there are many times where you can see something and it will be explained as some natural force, you know? But yeah, no, the Targaryen's blood makes them immune to fire. Fire resistance +3.
Okay, I mean, again,
but not
it's just
everyone, and you'll see why it's not everyone later.
the.
Well, and like to me, it's just like it's too much of just like random magic that
But
doesn't
we already
quite...
knew that though. Like it was described in the show already.
I know. It's just this is the first time. This is the first
it.
time that it bothered me.
Why would it bother you now though?
I don't know. It just does.
It was kind of abrupt, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe you could argue it disrupts like the flow.
And there's some other stuff in this episode too, but we'll get to it in a little while.
Is one of those why that one guy helps Tyrion?
I was wondering about that.
You mean a mercenary looking for gold, trying to help Tyrion?
Was that the same guy who was traveling with?
Yes.
Okay. That in the previous episode we saw them talking. Okay.
He was a mercenary hired by Catelyn.
Right.
He just likes money.
So I figured that out, and that did not bother me once I figured that out.
All right. So I'm curious to see what bothers you then.
That was fine. We'll get to it. So then the next thing we see Bran dreaming with the three-eyed raven again.
Oh yeah.
So that was I don't know. I assume that will get explained.
Yeah,
but
just keep Three-Eyed Raven is one of the most important parts of the show.
Yeah, and okay, fine. It's being revealed slowly. I'm okay with that.
Bad Wolf.
Bad Wolf.
I'm assuming that Bad Wolf's going to be like the Three-Eyed Raven, by the way.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. So we see then he wakes up and Hodor walks in with the the saddle that I really wanted to see. And so Bran gets to ride a horse.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, hey, that's right. He does get his wish. Immediately.
So that was pretty fast that they constructed that contraption.
It's just wood, and they have the design.
Yeah, all right.
Wood and leather, and he's like, he's like the most important person in the world. Okay.
So anyway, we see then he's riding, and Theon and Robb are there, and they're talking about what happened in King's Landing in the previous episode with Ned getting attacked by Lannisters and blah blah blah. And Theon wants to go to war with the Lannisters. He wants Robb to go to war with the Lannisters.
Yeah. Theon is a Greyjoy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're all about.
And so
Theon is
Bran wanders off.
God.
He gets attacked by some individuals. Do we know who these people are? Should I know?
Oh, the wildlings?
They are
They're not-
wildlings.
I don't think that's the right term.
That is they're actually just wildlings.
No, because they're like hill people.
What?
Oh yeah, because there's like more
they're
tribes
wildlings
than. 'Cause I
from
thought.
the north. They're all considered wild. Everyone north of the wall is a wildling. Even the
Oh, I didn't
giants.
think these people were from north of the wall. I
Yes,
thought they were
are.
like
That's why they knew about
indigenous.
the White Walkers. And that's why their attire was.
Yeah. Okay. That
Wait,
makes
when
sense.
did they know? Oh, wait. I'm thinking of a completely different scene. Holy cow. My
Okay.
bad. Yeah, you guys are right. I was thinking of. Never mind. I was thinking of a different scene.
All right. So,
What scene were you thinking of?
So I don't know if we've gotten to it yet, so I don't want to say it. Let me just look at the scene. Where are? No, we've been there. You know when they were on their way to the Vale and they got attacked?
oh yeah, from the previous episode.
Yeah.
I thought that's what we were talking about. For a second.
Oh, wow.
I got. Sorry, I just looked out there for a second.
Wow. How much alcohol so far?
Juicy amount.
A juicy amount? Spicy?
Yes.
So
I just
You have
gotta
to work tomorrow, William.
maybe.
I have a test I need to take by the end of the night.
That's why I'm like, oh, I didn't think those guys were wildlings. And then,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, no, you guys are good. So right
So-
now they're riding in the forest, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, don't stop till you get enough.
So those are wildlings, and so that's why when Bran says who he is, that he's a Stark, they're like Benjen Stark, sown blood, and blah blah blah. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, Robb and Theon come and rescue Bran, and they kill the. How many were there? I wrote it down. They killed the 3 male wildlings, and they left the woman alive. Good God, Captain.
Good
Good
God.
Captain.
So, yeah, that was interesting. There a lot of weird tension between Theon and Robb. I don't know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just it's weird to me.
Theon and Rob. What? I mean, Theon's trying to be like. Theon considers himself equal to the Stark space because he's grown with them and he also has a sigil name, but they don't treat him that way all the time.
Yeah.
Especially when discussing matters about their injured boy, so it's a little stressful when you talk about Bran, I guess, with Robb or anyone of the Starks right now.
Yeah.
As it would be. That makes a lot of sense to me, I guess. Just because
Okay.
brotherly, I mean, you should understand, like, your brother broke his legs and now you can't find him. You'd be a little stressed.
Yeah. So they mentioned a character whose name I haven't heard yet, which is Mance Raider.
In what context? I
The
know
the
name.
wildlings said that name. It was like, can you imagine how much?
Yeah, you'll find him. You'll meet him. He's
Okay.
important. He's important.
Good,
He's
good.
important. Okay.
I wrote that down because it was something I didn't recognize.
I remember him. He's
All right, cool.
Very important. Wow. Oh well, I mean, okay, he's a wow.
So the next thing we see
They
is
mentioned him in season 1.
we're at the Eyrie, and Tyrion is in prison, and he nearly rolled the edge. Sleep.
Tyrion's being the
Oh, man.
good God Captain embodiment.
I was like, oh, please don't roll off the edge. And I kind of knew he wouldn't, but
And no one
like,
thought that would be literally the worst way to kill off the
I'm like,
character.
oh, come on. Part of me though is like hoping for some heroic thing where he like rolls off the edge and then somehow like manages to grab something and like climb down the side of the cliff
What?
or
No.
whatever.
Oh, jumps into Jaime Lannister's arms. Brother. Brother. And then they kiss. The end.
No, but we already determined that Jaime is straight for Cersei.
I know. He's also straight for Tyrion.
No, he'd be gay for
If
Tyrion.
he's straight,
He's
it's all family. That's straight.
Uh,
I mean, we live in Wisconsin. You know, it's not too unheard of.
anyway,
Live in a town where there's only 3 last names and 900 residents.
anyway, so Tyrion calls for Mord. I love Mord. Like, I don't know if we're gonna see.
More.
I don't know if we're gonna see more of him, but I really liked him. He was a funny character. No gold. I love that. So he's trying to bribe Mord, and Mord doesn't like understand how bribes work. And I love that.
Tyrion.
That was
God. Peter
that
Dinklage
was
does
wonderful.
such a great job with Tyrion.
He does.
God. These early seasons are some of the best acting. This is the best acting you'll see from like a midget character in anything, I think. Holy fuck, he's so well done. He's so good. You also know what other movie he's been in? What movie he's been in?
No.
It's a Christmas movie. I want you to guess. I think
Why-
you'll get.
Elf.
Elf. It was Elf.
Elf.
He's the boss.
Was it
of
really?
Elf.
It was.
The boss. Remember in that
Nice.
scene?
That was
I don't think I've
racist.
ever actually even seen Elf.
What?
What's wrong with you, Ryan?
What the fuck is wrong
right.
with you?
I hate this.
Core. This podcast.
Did
contains-
William just left the podcast?
I hate you, Ryan.
William left the podcast because I haven't seen Elf.
it's justified. You are a terrible human being.
Yeah, okay. After we're done with this, I will watch Elf.
So we're gonna have a special episode on Christmas where we watch Elf.
No.
Yeah,
you can't watch Elf
actually,
now. You have to wait till Christmas to watch Elf.
I have to wait till Christmas? Okay, I can do that. We could totally do that, though.
You gotta find a Christmas movie that me and Bryce haven't seen that you have.
How the Shark Got Its Dinner.
Oh, we can watch the
Oh.
Christmas special.
Oh. We could.
Me,
Do an
Nate, and
could
Patrick
do-
watch it every single year.
I just had an idea. We could do a recorded reading of how the shark got its dinner.
Oh yes.
That
Oh
would be-
god, that would be
that would-
amazing.
When's your birthday, Ryan?
October.
It'll be your birthday present.
Oh my god. Maybe
Alright,
we'll have enough
anyway.
fans where we will animate it.
I don't think we'll ever have any.
That's a good way to look at it.
So anyway, then we go back to King's Landing, and we see Arya training with Syrio, and he's talking about how like she's with her trouble and
And
blah
she
blah.
has. He says one of the best lines in this scene in the show. One of my favorites. It's
Which
one that I
was?
like quoting. The line about death, where there's only one God, and it's death. And you know what we tell Death?
Not today. Yeah.
Good God,
And this is like ABB. What a great line. Ah. Ooh.
Die, potato. Not today.
You guys want to know something weird?
What?
No.
I don't know why I'm thinking about this. The deepest spot in Lake Winnebago is only 21 feet. How does that make you feel?
Makes sense.
It's so big, but it's like incredibly shallow. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with that right now.
And still drown.
Anyways,
Back to you.
Back to you, Ryan.
What that means though is that if I stood on top of 3 other people who were as tall as me, my head would be well above the water.
I mean, you could like literally just dive down to like any point, touch the bottom, and come up, and you'd be fine.
I mean, your
Until
ears
the
would
sharks
hurt.
get their dinner.
I wonder what the biggest fish in Lake Winnebago is.
I mean, it's a sturgeon for sure.
Let me just Google this. Biggest fish.
Are we giving away too much information?
Lake
Just give me your social
Winnebago?
secu- Where's
Yeah.
that?
How is that too
I
much?
think it's in like Michigan.
It's in Michigan. It's in Lake Michigan.
No, I meant like the state Michigan, not Lake Michigan.
Okay, it's like a sturgeon bigger than a dude. So that's like creepy.
Wow.
I don't want really big fish touching me and eating me.
But they don't eat people. They only eat
That's
like
what they say.
We are getting off track. Anyway, Game of Thrones.
If they ate you, how would you
Shut-
tell other people?
Damn it.
Yeah, I guess how would you tell anyone? But you know, a fish we learned is the sigil
Oh
of
god.
House Tully.
Oh baby.
I'm looking at the map of Lake Winnebago. There's a spot called Black Wolf. It's triggering me. Looks too much
Bad
like
wolf?
that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
bad
thinking. Okay, sorry. I'm too distracted.
Everything is connected.
You're too drunk.
Dirk Gently, Solistic Detective
Shut up.
Agency Ref. Anyway, so let's get back to it. So we go back to Vice Dothrak, and this is where we see Daenerys having to eat a horse's heart.
Yeah, that is tradition. That's now this is a flaw in the show, as in if you ate a horse's heart raw, you would die.
Oh yeah.
Anyone
yeah.
does. But plot convenience aside, whatever. You know, we can live past it because it's whatever. I look past it, even though I know deep down.
Okay. So here's another issue that I had. In an earlier episode, Daenerys had said to Drogo, "It's a boy," talking about her child,
Mhm.
and like, "How do you know?" And she's like, "I just know." And now all the other characters have just accepted the fact that it's a boy.
Well, yeah. That's
And,
how
like-
it would work in that day and age.
But
And that type
How
with
do
that
they know?
technology, they don't know. They don't know. By
But,
by
I think
technology
it's all
standpoint,
worse.
but by like tradition and how you know they would quote unquote test, they would say they would determine it's a boy.
the thing is, none of that's explained. Like, it again seems like random magic to me.
Random, but we don't know if it's a boy or a girl. The baby is in the stomach.
Well, exactly, we don't know.
Yeah,
But
but
all the characters seem
what
completely
ancient
certain.
civilization didn't do what they just did?
All of them?
What they all did something akin to that. Do something where they predict the baby's gender. They're like almost every civilization has done that.
See, but it didn't seem like they were just predicting it. It seemed like they
Well, yeah,
already
they would
knew,
know.
and
Yeah,
they
that's
were-
how they would think that means that it would be.
I didn't like this. It seemed like they were too certain.
What?
Like, everybody just...
I can just imagine, like, they did a too good job convincing me.
No, it's... The problem is that, like, it's not like just the Dothraki either that are convinced. It's Jorah, too.
Well,
He's like,
what's the
he's
problem
certain
with
that it's going to be a boy. It's like,
That makes sense.
how can they possibly be sure?
Well, Ryan, do you think it'll be a boy?
He wasn't. He never. Jorah didn't say that it was a boy.
did.
He said that as in translation as to what the Dothraki were saying.
No, I don't think
That was what he. That's literally what he said.
I didn't interpret it.
Why would you interpret it as his own words when he's translating? And he's like, "Oh, it's a boy," like as in, "Hey, that's what they say." Ooh, that's what they think. I think that he was supposed to be like the viewer.
But then Viserys was talking to Jorah, and he's like, "Oh, it's gonna be a boy, huh? Well, he won't be a real Targaryen." And they just like continue on as if that's just fact now.
No, they weren't. They never said it was fact. What? They never.
They did.
And
it bothers
absolutely
me.
didn't. They didn't say it was fact. They said it's a boy as in translation. Then they started being witty and stuff, like the witty tone of the show.
If they go back and explain some of this later,
sarcasm works. You just
Bryce, I don't think you know how sarcasm works.
Me. Ryan, you're one of the most robotic people I've ever met.
I have no idea what he just said.
No, I didn't.
It was really like.
I heard, Ryan, you're one of the most
Oh, really? Wait,
yeah.
Is hello? Am I good now? Am I good?
You're good now.
All right, but Ryan, like, don't take this the wrong way, but I do feel as though like you are kind of one of those people that kind of acts like a robot. You know?
Okay.
Like, please don't take that the wrong way. I mean that really.
Fair.
I hate you, Ryan.
Oh, yeah, you're such a piece
That's
of
okay.
shit.
You haven't
I
seen
understand,
Elf.
William. I accept the fact that you hate me. It's all right.
What kind of monster hasn't seen Elf? Just can't get over it.
Oh man. Anyway, I really was bothered by this, and maybe
that's your decision, but it seemed pretty like clear what their intentions were.
It wasn't to me, so it bothered me. So anyway, we gotta move on. So she names the unborn child Rhaego, and is that didn't she have a brother named Rhaegar?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So is that a reference to him?
Yes.
No.
What?
Okay.
Is it not?
I don't know.
Anyway, I also took a note here. I wrote, does Drogo own a shirt?
No.
Like I don't think I've ever seen him with it. So
who's your favorite character, Ryan?
Who is my favorite character?
Right now, in the middle of this episode.
In the middle of the episode.
Yes.
So not having gotten to the point where we're at the end of the episode.
Correct.
I don't know. I have no idea.
You hate all of them.
I still like Tyrion a lot. I think Tyrion Lannister is still my favorite character.
That's an awful answer.
Okay.
I hate it.
All right. I hate you too.
Thanks. Do you know this guy hasn't seen Elf? It's awful.
I'm sure that there's some huge thing that you haven't seen. I just have to find it.
I've seen everything. You're not gonna get me on
Bryce
this one.
hasn't seen The Godfather. We established
Well,
that.
yeah, I haven't seen a lot of shows like
awful.
that. Like, I should have way long ago.
William, you haven't seen Doctor Who.
Doctor Who's awful though. I hate it. Never gonna watch it.
Yeah.
You've never seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'm working on that one though. So anyway, Viserys then attempts to steal the dragon eggs, and Jorah stops him. So that's cool. I don't understand why Viserys put the eggs down, because Jorah was not armed, and Viserys was armed.
Do you think Viserys had any chance of beating a knight in combat?
Okay,
whether he had a weapon or not?
When he has a sword and...
Oh, Jorah also had a sword.
He did not.
Not like on him, but like this Viserion sword that he had...
Not on him, though. That's the point.
It doesn't matter. It's his sword. Like, you can't just... You're looking at a guy, Viserion, who's never been in combat in his whole life against a knight.
But
why would
knight
you?
doesn't
Why
have
would
a weapon?
you're what the? Would you? Okay, if you were telling me if you're a Viserion knight, you take that fight.
Bryce, like,
You take that fight.
You triggered him more than I.
You don't-
You triggered duties that you haven't seen. Elf.
You don't take fights you're just gonna die in. Why? What type of person does this?
Argue, Brian.
Look how much of
Stand
a
up for
pussy
yourself.
Viserion is. We've already established that this character sucks.
No,
And
I
is
know.
a pussy. No, like, as in, he's a wimp. He doesn't fight. He, a little bit of blood makes him tense. He's like that, like, ugh. He's not gonna fight. If he took that fight, it would be so
What is that?
What?
Sounds like you're accentuating the point with the farts.
It's my fucking chair.
It was great because like everything you said was getting punctuated by that.
He's a whip.
Oh my god. We need to move on.
Oh my god. Alright, yeah. Okay, but
Good
that
god.
doesn't.
Cap.
Good God, Captain.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo. It would be out of character for him to take a fight at all. Especially from someone who's supposed to be protecting him.
Alright. Fine.
You're just gonna get. Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway. We go back to the Eyrie then, and we see Tyrion again. And there's still no gold. He still doesn't have any gold on him.
Still doesn't have gold. No
This
gold.
time he convinces Mord to take his message to what's her name?
What is Catelyn's
Stop
sister
moving
again?
Your chair.
Here. That works. I made it so I can't lean back anymore.
Bryce is now sitting on the floor.
I just turned off the lean back feature on chairs, with the little.
So anyway, I love Tyrion's confession of his crimes.
Yes, it's yes.
That was amazing.
Oh, when I was
Love
7, I
Dolphin.
stole a girl's robe, and when I was 10, I came in my sister's
He
suit.
says that 4 different ways, by the
Oh
way.
my god,
He
it's
says-
so well.
He milked his eel.
Oh
he
yeah, he moved
flogged the one-eyed snake, skinned my sausage, made the bald man cry.
I like that one the best.
made the bald man cry.
And I realized after watching the episode that I have heard people say all 4 of those things.
And I think they're all from this episode.
Oh yeah, this is probably where all of those come from.
I think
But-
the eel one existed before, maybe.
I don't know, but I love
Doesn't
the fact
it's great no matter what.
I love the fact that now we know that Cersei has
Has ingested
has taken has ingested both of her brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. Important riveting information that we needed to hear.
Yeah. And then, of course, he says, I once brought a jackass and a honeycomb into a brothel. And then Liza interrupts him, and then Robin goes, what happened next?
Yeah.
I love that, too.
What happened? Well, a little kid would. That is a really good child actor, too, I think.
It's like the kid has no filter whatsoever.
Like, that kid is having the time of his life acting as that.
He's so messed up. Such a messed up kid. I feel bad for him. But at the same time, I hate him.
Oh. I want to make the bad man fly.
Yeah. So they open up the moon door, the door on the floor, and Robin gets really excited by that because it means somebody's gonna fly.
One
And-
way or another, you're gonna fly. I'm gonna get you, get you, get you.
So
Oh, the next
Tyrion-
week.
they decide that, okay, well, Robin should be Tyrion's judge. And of course, Tyrion's like, well, no, I'm not doing that. We're going to go for trial by combat instead. And then Liza's like, okay, who wants to kill this guy? And a bunch of people are like, me. But then lots of stuff happens, and they're like, okay, champions instead. And so the mercenary guy decides to be Tyrion's champion.
Yep.
And he fights against a guy whose name I wrote down.
Ryan.
Expendable Knight number 59.
Sir Vardis, which is very close to Tardis.
God damn it.
Anyway,
What's wrong with you, Ryan?
I haven't seen Elf. I thought we established that was what was wrong with me.
Just making sure you remembered.
Okay. So I liked that before that though he tried to name Jamie as champion. And
Yeah.
I mean
They're
that's
like, no,
smart.
it has to happen today. And he's like, do I have a volunteer? Anyone? Please?
Yeah.
He kind of just
That was
sits there.
good.
Hello? Help?
So then we go back to we see Robert has gone hunting, and the party that he brings along with him
Is his
is
brother?
the old guy Barristan, and that makes sense that he would bring that guy along. But then the other two guys are Renly and Lancel.
Well, his
and
brother and his squire.
Wine carrier.
The
But
brother
he
always
clearly hates.
no. His brother has to go hunting with him. That's a family thing, that tradition that they've done since they were kids, that they've already described in the show.
Okay. It
I
just
know that Renly's gay.
yeah it seems like he doesn't know that, and I wrote down that
Or is it that he just denies it, or that even though he knows
well
that
exactly, and I'm really curious to find out who all knows, because I'm assuming that in this world that's a taboo thing.
We know Littlefinger.
I mean,
But Littlefinger knows everything.
it's not that it's like, it's taboo in the sense of yes and no. You'll find out.
Okay.
It,
I'm just curious about it at this point.
it's not as extreme as you would think.
It's an interesting plot point, I think, at this point. And I'm curious to see what direction they go with it. So then we see these people talking. They're in the throne room. Ned is sitting on the Iron Throne. And there's these people from the Riverlands.
Yep,
Is that where they're from?
the Riverlands.
And they've been attacked by, we find out, the Mountain.
The mountain. Oh,
Martin.
Sir Gregor Clegane. So that whole scene I feel is super, super important. Everything.
well, it
happens there.
establishes Ned ain't taking it. Ned trying to put his honor decrees into place.
Like, it seems like if, like, since the first episode, the war, like, it seems like war has been brewing between the Starks and Lannisters ever since Jaime pushed Bran out of a window. It seems like that's the direction we've been heading, and it seems like we're closer now.
One step closer to the edge. Is it about to break?
One step closer to the edge, and Tyrion would be dead because he nearly fell off already.
Oh, the snack that smiles back.
Goldfish coming out your nose.
Through vomit.
It's
Vomit.
like
What a great album name.
having solids come out is just an awful feeling.
Wait, what's a great album name?
Goldfish coming through your nose with vomit.
Oh. I thought you meant Hybrid Theory.
I'm gonna
What?
that one. What? Where did you get that from, Ryan?
Because he was quoting One Step Closer.
Ryan, you drunk?
All right.
I'm
So
not,
anyway,
actually.
after Ned has his whole thing where he does something that is not quite wise.
Yeah, so he is declaring Gregor an enemy of the crown or whatever, and he's going to go try to bring him to justice. His penalty is death. And then he's going to try to interrogate Tywin Lannister, who is Jaime and Cersei and Tyrion's father.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting.
Ooh, things are tensing up. Doo-doo.
I'm eager.
Doo-doo.
I'm eager to meet this guy.
Tywin's cool. Tywin's a fun character.
Does he know that his twin children are straight for each other?
You'll find out. You'll find
All right.
out. Don't ask questions that haven't been revealed yet. That's a good thing. Everyone just say you'll find out the questions that you will or won't find out. Like, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know. It seems really weird to just like answer some things and not answer others, because then people will just know what's coming regardless eventually, because it's really easy to interpret. So it's better to just say you'll see, I find, because then they...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. So then we go back to the Eyrie, and we see the duel, and I love the duel. That was a great scene.
That was
And so mercenary
You
dude,
fight with no honor.
Yeah,
he did.
So mercenary dude wins. Tyrion pays his debts because Lannisters tend to do that.
Always do. In fact, I've heard.
Oh, they always do that. Kidding. So anyway, then we go back to. I mean, there's really not much more to say about the duel. It was a great scene, but I mean,
no, you don't need to interpret more. Just go watch the scene if you want to see some badass combat.
Yep.
Put to film.
Yep. So anyway, then we go back to King's Landing and we see the scene with Sansa and the old lady.
Sansa.
And I don't like. I'm getting sick of Sansa's bullshit at this point.
Yeah. Oh man, I think that you're gonna like how much. No, I'm not gonna say anything. No, you're right. No, I was about to. No, just.
I mean, like
You'll see.
It's a really great acting performance, but I don't like her.
Yeah.
So anyway, she was being all sarcastic with the old lady.
She was pretty funny.
Well, what was funny though?
I forgot. I don't care.
Yeah.
Get fucked, nigga.
It's like, oh god. This
Damn, he done took a nigga's Tim's. Keep it 100.
Right. You can't be doing this. I tried to, dude.
We're gonna get demonetized, Brian's.
My bad. Don't worry, they can't tell my skin color. The screen's black enough.
No, but Bryce. Your name is Bryce. Have you ever met someone named Bryce who is not like the whitest person you know?
Yeah, I've met a few Asian Bryces.
Asians are pretty much white. We've established that at this point.
I mean, they're Asian without cock.
Ryan, what's your favorite race?
Time Lord. Let's move on.
Dodged a bullet real quick.
Yeah, whew, that was close.
All right, is the next scene the Golden Crown?
We see Joffrey come in and apologize to Sansa for.
That's right.
I really wanted that scene to be over the second it started.
Oh no, that scene's important. That scene's so important. Oh, that's so important.
Sure
Yes, this is one of the most important scenes of the season. It will pay off. It will pay off. It'll pay off quick. Not in the next 2 episodes, but you'll see. Oh,
okay, Bryce, just stop telling me these things. Anyway.
Well, I'm saying it for the viewer. Like you can interpret it any way you want. But I forgot about that scene completely.
Are you okay, Bryce?
It's great. William, you know why it's great.
What are we talking about?
The Joffrey Sansa scene where Joffrey is like forgiveful and everything.
Where what?
The Joffrey Sansa scene where Sansa is being bitchy and Joffrey comes in and they're all being lovey-dovey like kings and queens shit.
I at this point I can't explicitly remember. I'm sorry, Bryce.
Okay, whatever. So anyway, the Golden Crown's the next scene, I think.
Nope, we're not there yet.
What?
Can we just skip to that?
No. Because first we see at Winterfell, we find out that Raz is traveling to King's Landing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sad. And I don't really care that much.
Whoa.
So then we go back to King's Landing again. And Ned is telling his daughters that they're going to pack and go back to Winterfell. And this was such a funny scene. I loved Arya in this scene so much.
7 hells.
Yeah, 7 hells. And then like Sansa's like, I don't want someone who's, I don't remember what she said. She's like, who's noble and brave and strong. I want Joffrey. And Arya just like laughs. Like,
Arya is like, she's so good. Maisie is so good awesome in this show. She's just this little brat, and everyone loves her. I'm a girl.
Like when she interacts with other characters, it's just
juicy.
Like certain characters, just like it's awesome. I don't know. I really like Arya Stark.
Yeah,
she's a good character.
She's a great character.
So then, the last thing before we go back to Vice Dothrak is Ned is going through that big book of people's names.
Oh yes,
and
black of hair.
Yeah, black of hair.
Black of hair.
Okay. I don't like this because they're suggesting that Joffrey is not Robert's son, which I had already sort of guessed.
Baratheons are always black of hair.
We talked about this on the podcast, but we also know that Lannisters are always blonde of hair. So, like, if he is in fact Robert and Cersei's son, there's a 50-50 chance, right? Like, it's like, it's again like, I don't like that this is the evidence that they're digging up.
It's not just this is just one of those things that it's never happened before ever, and the Lannisters and the Baratheons have had kids before.
It's just that,
and it's never happened before, ever.
But there also hasn't been a Lannister with black hair.
Yeah, they're Baratheons.
But are we safe to assume that like the Mendelian genetics don't apply here?
Yeah.
So now I've seen the debates about that, like that it doesn't apply, and some people say it does. All that sort of thing.
I'm again.
Of course it doesn't.
I'm gonna go with that. It doesn't.
Okay. So there's something at play here beyond the understanding that I have of genetics work.
Well, I mean, it's just how houses and bloodlines are everything in Game of Thrones. So, if someone says Baratheons always have black of hair, that they're not just saying that. That is fact. The Lannister always faces death. That's not just, they're not saying that. That's what they're supposed to do. Because they're a Lannister.
Okay.
It's all about this kind of, their own set of chivalry, I guess. And a lot of says. I know it's unrelated to the hair thing, but that's...
Anyway, I don't know. I didn't like it, but if you're saying that there's something beyond the way that genetics work in real life going on here, then I'm actually kind of okay with it.
Okay.
I mean, considering what you're okay with Doctor Who, I mean, it's basically the same thing, the same humble jumble that they come up with a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Well, the Doctor, like, for example, the Doctor just knowing that if you snap, his head would open. Like, why would he was never told that, and it's clear he was unfamiliar with the time and unfamiliar with how the technology worked.
I've seen other people do it, though.
Most people didn't do it with snapping, they did it with whistling.
But Kathika, who is the
why
only
would
one
he just assume that no, he saw 6 people do it.
Okay, it doesn't matter. We're not talking about that anymore. Because now we have to get to Vice Dothrak.
The Golden Crown.
Yeah.
The
Golden
Crown. It was da 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 da.
Da 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 da
Da da da da. Oh man. Every time okay. To compare these two shows, Game of Thrones feels like a movie every episode, whereas Doctor Who feels like I'm watching a TV show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
And so when you get a climax like that at an end of a movie, like Game of Thrones, like a Game of Thrones episode,
you cut out again.
This is a weird spot to come back in.
Yeah.
You cut out, we came back to you howling. So that was...
Oh man, it's so good. So good. Oh, I want my golden crown, one that no other man would want to bear. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeet!
Yeah, that's a pretty brutal way to go.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. You're literally melted to death. And then the last line, he was no dragon.
Well, okay, we have to decide, though, is that now the most brutal death that we have seen in this podcast? Because prior to
I think the sucker death was pretty awful.
What death?
The sucker death with the Dalek.
No.
Like, it didn't
remember,
bad.
prior to that,
if you think about it.
It's not the most brutal, though. It should be really the most disgraceful death. Because the most disgraceful death was the one where the aliens in the fat suits farted repeatedly and then unzipped their head and killed the guy.
Oh my goodness.
Is that still the most disgraceful death we've seen?
Probably.
I mean, you literally just melted a guy through his with
Yeah. I mean,
it's the most brutal way to go so far in the show. Like, there's no
so for brutality, yes, absolutely.
God, it's barbaric up the ass.
They broke his arm first too.
Yeah,
Which is pretty cool.
like
What?
they broke his arm.
It was like they broke his arm.
Yeah, they did break his arm. Yeah.
Arm.
I love how he barely even reacted to the fact that they broke his arm.
Well, I mean, when you're in that scenario, I don't think you're gonna be focusing on your arm.
He need a lot of alcohol in him, so
yeah,
That's
that
true.
one too.
He's
was not only
Superman.
he's drunk, but also oh god, he's panicking. A lot of
Good
adrenaline,
God, Captain.
a lot of
Good God,
dopamine,
Captain.
and good God, Captain. Also, good God, Captain for whatever horse they had to kill for Daenerys.
Oh yeah,
Good
that's
God,
a good point.
Captain.
Yep, good God, Captain. do you think they reused the same horse from the previous episode? I mean, like, production-wise, because they had to kill a horse for that episode. So do you think that they just reused parts of the same horse?
Do you think they literally just made Emilia Clarke just eat a horse's heart?
I think they
I think we can safely assume that she did.
I think we have to assume that everything we see on the show is 100% real.
Yeah, there are actually no actors. We just have cameras placed in this world.
This is reality television.
Yeah. So yeah, Ryan, rating?
Yeah, like I said, I have some issues with this episode. And we talked about that, and Bryce told me why I was wrong many times. And I still disagree that I think these are problems that I'm going to have, and maybe some of them will get explained. Maybe I'll let it go eventually. But for the time being, I'm giving this episode, even though I liked a lot about it, I'm giving it a 5.5.
Ooh.
All right.
That's just nasty.
Based on how much I love this episode, I feel is actually one of the greater parts of the show. The season especially, and it has a lot of just most swift interactions. You got a lot of these fantastic moments. You got all the wind charm from an episode. You got the logical consistency that you would expect, for me at least. And you got the satisfying climax and resolution at the end, where it leaves you on the cliffhanger that you wanted to, and a satisfying line. 9 out of 10. This is my favorite episode of this show.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Okay.
So William.
Can someone remind me what my highest rating has been and what it was?
Yes, of course. Your highest rating was on the last episode, and you gave it an 8.5.
8.8.
God, again with this.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, so that brings the average rating to 7.77.
Perfect. That raises the rating, doesn't it?
Let me check. Easiest way to do this is just delete those numbers and then undo. Yeah, it went up very slightly.
What rating?
It was 7.53 before, now it's 7.57 for the show overall.
So it's just
not as big of a jump as Doctor Who made today.
Wow.
So Doctor Who is catching up.
Yeah, you're catching up.
It's closed the gap a little bit.
With 6 out of 10 ratings, it's closing the gap.
Yep.
Slowly but surely.
Yep.
Today was my most enjoyable day of watching these shows, by the way.
Yeah.
I have yet to give a 10.
That's true. I'm the only one so far who's given a 10 to anything.
Yeah, that might stay true for a long time.
I think I'd agree with that. I'm very unlikely to give 10s.
I might not even give a 10 because I don't like. 10s are for episodes that I would have to feel such a oh. I know what a 10 is. I know what a 10 is for me.
And that's exactly the thing. Where 10s have a feeling to them, and to me, Dalek had that, and that's why I gave it a 10. But that was
changed the game up for me.
Fair enough. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I mean, we're done.
We are done. I have to go do a test now.
Okay, so
Due in
before we
12
do
hours.
that, Bryce, I forgot to remind you when we first started Game of Thrones, but you had something you wanted me to remind you about.
Oh yeah, I needed to remind you about something.
Yes, I remembered my thing, but I don't know what your thing was.
Well, my thing was the Sansa and Arya thing.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remembered. What was your
William,
thing?
were you going to remind someone about something?
Me? I was supposed to remind. You're supposed to remind me to remind Bryce to remind you about something.
So remind Bryce then.
Bryce.
Yeah, I did it already. Don't worry,
together.
I did it. So
Okay,
Ryan.
So here's the thing that all of this reminding is about. Now we've talked about our good friend Kyle on this podcast.
I don't know him. He ain't my friend.
Well,
He a hoe.
Bryce.
He's a hoe. That's correct.
Yeah, he is a hoe, but he's our friend too. Anyway, Kyle started his own podcast.
Stealer.
Well, and actually, it's funny because when I first emailed him to tell him about this podcast, he said that he'd actually been thinking about starting a podcast, and now he's finally done it. And it is about professional wrestling.
Oh, God.
Okay. I'm definitely watching it.
I have no interest in professional wrestling myself, but
But we have an interest in Kyle.
I listened to Kyle's podcast anyway, and despite not knowing what he was talking about, I found it entertaining. So it is called the Dragon Rana Podcast, and I'm going to put a link to his YouTube channel in the description of this video.
All right.
So
when
anybody
it comes out.
Yeah, anybody out? Well, obviously. So anybody, God, Bryce. So anybody
You're
out
so
there
mean
who,
to me.
you suck, Bryce.
Wow,
Anybody
Jesus
out there
Christ,
who wants
he's
to
so hard.
who wants to listen to a podcast about wrestling, go check out Kyle's podcast. It's cool. And already his only podcast episode has way more views than any of our episodes. So
Really?
Oh yeah.
How much?
It has 57 views in 3
Oh.
days.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh.
What is his tags? What is he using for his tags? What's his secret?
I don't know. I don't know if I can look at the tags.
No, just ask him.
Probably like
I'll ask him.
Because I'm
Fortnite
gonna
stuff.
straight up copy exactly what he's using.
It's possible also that he just told a bunch of people and we basically didn't tell anybody.
I think
Well,
Kyle.
how many people were subscribed to his channel before?
7, including myself.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense then. Because if he told people, they would have subscribed. Because that's what people usually do when you tell them. They don't just check out one episode. They're going to be subscribed and maybe not check it at all.
So people are actually finding his podcast. So maybe he'll reciprocate and give us a plug.
Yes, maybe.
Anyway, that's it for this podcast. William, thanks again for being with us. Good
No
luck on your
problem.
voyage.
Thank you.
I hope that you make it home safely.
I will. I guarantee it.
You guarantee it.
Definitely.
You're going to like the way you look.
You're gonna like
yeah.
the way they are.
Oh, also, one last note. Next week's episode, we have to decide on a name. So
We don't need to do this on podcast.
We do
We
have
do.
to do this on the podcast.
Oh,
The
I
Doctor
need
Who
to take
episode
this
is called.
back.
Would you? I'm sorry, Bryce. Would you like me to do this or not?
I'm
So we can end the podcast. Because this is the last item on the agenda.
Carry on.
The Doctor Who episode is called Father's Day, and the Game of Thrones episode is called You Win or You Die. So
No, that's what it is. Father's Day, comma, you win or you die.
I thought of that actually, but I also thought of calling it You Father or You Day.
That's so bad compared to Father's Day, you win or
I
you
hate
die.
Ryan.
I'm so mean. I'm so,
You
just
Father or You Day? You don't like it?
that's so. Father's Day, you win or you die. It's amazing.
All right, I'm fine with that if that's what you'd rather go with.
Father's Day is Doctor Who, right?
Yes, of course. Why would it be Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I'm just like, doesn't make any sense for Game of Thrones, but both of them make sense for Doctor Who.
Both of them could be Doctor Who, but yeah. Anyway, that's the end of our podcast, guys.
Yep.
See you next time. Lid.